Hey, it's a great day. I'm Mike Current, Energizer, and today is day 70 on the Continental Divide Trail. So let's do this. So today, we are taking a zero in the town of Grand Lakes, and we needed a zero. This last section was pretty tough for us. And we convinced Early Bird to take a zero with us. She had gone 12 days on trail, didn't get off trail, just kept moving. In fact, we were teasing her and we started calling Early Bird Dirty Bird. And so we convinced her to stay a night last night. And now she's staying for the zero with us here in this Airbnb. The girls spent the day going paddleboarding. Mash and I spent the day eating cheeseburgers and milkshake and having some beer. And then we watched the European soccer game. The French and Spain played. Unfortunately, France didn't win. So that's what we spent the day doing today, just chilling out. And now we're gonna have a great meal here in the Airbnb that Knee Deep and Mash had arranged. What I'd like to do in this video is some of you have asked about my food. Now, in one of my prep videos, I showed you what is in a box that my wife would send me, the food I'm having sent to me. But when I'm resupplying on trail, it's well, what's in the grocery store? And here in the grocery store that we have in Grand Lakes, it's not a huge grocery store, but it does the trick. So I'm gonna show you the food that I eat on trail, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit more about food storage while I'm camping, because some of you have requested that. So first off, I'm gonna go breakfast, lunch, and dinner and just kind of go through that. Breakfast consists of, I've talked about this before, Pop-Tarts. Of course, frosted strawberry is the way to go. And then just some kind of oatmeal. I've gotten used to cooking now that I'm in Colorado, and breakfast, a hot breakfast, is really good. So that is what I'm eating for breakfast. And then lunch, I like to do wraps for lunch. And so you just get some tortilla wraps. And for this one, I went with string cheese, just whatever type of cheese I can get, and then some prosciutto packets. And I can mix that up. The mayonnaise they had, I couldn't get one of the little ones, but I did at the hamburger joint. I did get some mayonnaise, so I'm going to be bringing that to add to that. Now, I did get my taste back for tuna on the trail. If you watch my prep video, I normally can't eat tuna on the trail, but for some reason, I can eat it on this trail. And so tuna creations are another thing. Instead of the prosciutto, I'll add to the cheese one of the tuna creation packets, and they have their own sauce. And so that makes it real easy for that. So that is typically lunch, a nice wrap, and enjoy that. A lot of calories. And then for dinner, I do have one Mountain House meal that I'll have, dehydrated meal. And then for the other days, I will eat a ramen and a tuna packet and put these together. So those are my dinners. Now for snacks, I have something healthy, the RX bars. I'll have 2 of these per day, and then of course a Snickers bar. And then I've added to that some Cheetos and some chocolates, just to mix it up and get some extra calories into the body. For this last supply I did when I was out for the 6 days, it was the first time I actually ran out of food by the time I got to town. Normally I'm walking into town and I have extra food, and I was feeling kind of guilty because I had extra food all the time. And so I didn't bring enough food, and I really felt it by the time I got into town. In fact, Mash was looking at me to make sure I was feeling okay, because yeah, I was close to not doing well. So for this go round, I have extra food and I've got extra snacks to make sure that the body can keep going. Now, the other things that I would get on during the resupply, I got some fuel And I also got some DEET because the mosquitoes are definitely out. And so that's a typical resupply when I am in town, and that's what I'm gonna pack out. This next section is about 3.5 days. So just calculate 3.5 days of what I've got, and that's what I'll be carrying. Now, some of you have asked about how do I store my food at night? Now, if you're on the Appalachian Trail, of course, you're gonna do a bear hang. And in the Appalachian Trail, they actually provide areas where they have wires or bars and that sort of thing, and you can put it up because you have a lot of habituated bears. And the same thing on the Pacific Crest Trail, not as many habituated bears as you have on the AT, you have on the PCT, but there are areas you have to be worried, and you might have a bear canister. On the Continental Divide Trail, so far, we have not been in a section where we have a habituated bear issue. And so all the CDT hikers I know, except for one, just sleep with their food. I do know one hiker, I've seen one hiker that actually carries a bear canister, and they've carried it the whole time. But most of us just sleep with our food because bears don't want to go after your food. That's a learned behavior. And the bears here haven't done that. Now, we are going to be going to areas where there are habituated bears and there are grizzlies. And so as we're moving up the trail, how the food is stored will be changed. When I get to Lander, Wyoming, I will be buying an sack. I've got a bear canister at home, and I do use it if I'm hiking around the house up at Lake Tahoe, habituated bear issue. So I use the bear canister there, but I do not like using one during a through hike. So when I get to Lander, I will be buying an sack. An sack is just like a regular food bag, but the bears can't chomp through it. And you just clip it around a tree, and there you go. Now, if a bear gets a hold of your food and he chomps the food is ruined inside. It turns into mush, but at least the bear doesn't get used to eating the food, or they can't get at the food and reinforce that poor behavior. And so I'll be picking up a sack, and I will be using that through Yellowstone and Glacier National Park, where of course they do have habituated bear issues. So that is my food resupply, what I take during when I'm in town. Again, I'll mix it up a little bit and get a variety. And then my wife sends me a periodic box where I get the food that, as you've watched my prep video, that's what I'll get in those. And now you know how I store my food and intend to store my food when I get into a habituated bear area. We'll be taking off tomorrow and heading through Rocky Mountain National Park and further on down the trail. And I'll talk about that more tomorrow when we get back on trail. See you then.